Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss about the for statement in C++. Generally this is related to the loops, and we can see the loops, that means it will repeat the any task again and again. So what is the loop? Basically this is the suppose you want to repeat the same of the task again and again, like while writing table of any number, we multiply same number from 1 to 10, multiply number from n to 1 to find the factorial. In real life also we can see, suppose you want to do the or perform the same task again and again, that time we have to use the this kind of statement. This is the real life conditions and where repetition of task was done by us. Okay, you can see this one, the pseudocode reference. What are the things required for that? First thing is the start and stop. This is the first in pseudocode, we can write that one. Then second step, input number n to print table. Let count equal to 1, display n multiplied by 1, multiplying by the 1 starting from 1. Suppose you want to print the table of the 5, it will print the 5 into 1, 5 into 2, 5 into 3, 5 into 4, like this up to the given condition. 8 I to count, and if count double equal to 10, it will stop. So this statement will be continue. If count is equal to 10, this means this loop will stop. Otherwise it will continue, repeat from step number C onwards. Okay, now you can see next step. To carry out the repetition of statements, Python provides two different type of the loops statement. One is the while loop and another is the for loop. While loop is the conditional loop and the for loop is the counting loop. That means it will how many times it will perform the task. Now come to the quick recap of that topic. Iteration of idioms in the programming, necessity and convenience of iteration that will be performing through the while, do while statements in C++. Whatever things we are going to cover in this chapter, iteration using for statement in C++, break statements in for loop, and comparison with the different iteration construct in C++. Now recall the generic iteration construct. There are two different parts, part of program before iteration and part of the program after iteration. In middle of them you can see the iteration initialization, setting up initial values, etc. Iterate, repeat how many times it will conduct this one. If this condition is true, it will perform the given block of the loop, otherwise it will not perform. Now for statement in if, there are different parts. Again we can discuss these things, part of the program before iteration and part of the program after iteration. You can see here the semicolon not to denote end of executable statements, but to separate three parts inside for loop. Now it is separated by the, in middle of them you can put the semicolon. You can see the flow chart for this for loop, part of the program before iteration and part of the program after iteration. Middle of them you can see iteration is initialization, that means when in which value it will start, and if this logical expression is or loop condition is true, then it will perform the body of the loop instruction at end of the every iteration, or if it is false, condition is false, then part of the after iteration. Points to remember about the for loop. For you can see first thing is the initialization, semicolon, loop condition, semicolon, instructions after every iteration, this one, and no semicolon after end of this statement. So for loop, this is the for loop, the body. If this condition is true, calibration is open and closed, it will perform the task. Initialization code executed only once before first entry in loop. Loop condition checked before executing for body can lead to zero executions of for body. Number of times loop condition is checked, number of times for body executed +1. If loop terminates, loop condition can be changed in for body or instructions after every iteration. Revisiting the quiz marks problems, you can see here. Read numbers of students in CS 101, read quiz 1 marks, CS 101 students, and print their sum, average and maximum and minimum marks. So this is the time, you can see this one. revisiting the quiz marks of problems. That means in CS 101, whatever marks you will be getting, and how many students are there, how many number of students will be there, we are going to make the programs for that. Okay. Flowcharts for this representation. First thing is required, read number student, initialize aggregates, sum, minimum, maximum, that variables. Initialize count to 1, increment count. Condition is there, count is less than or equal to number of student. If that is true, ask for the marks, read marks, update aggregates and increment count. And again do condition checking. If this is false, then compute average and print aggregates. This is the flow chart of the representation of this program. Now you can see this program in C++. Int main, int marks, sum, mean, max, number of students, float, average, count, variable declarations are there. There are some give number of students, number of students it will be stored, and it will store in the num students variable. For loop is there, count is equal to 0.0, count is less than or equal to number of students, count is equal to count plus 1. If this condition is true, it will ask for the marks of the students. It will be stored in the marks. It will update the sum, max and mean, calculate the average sum divided by count, print average sum, print max, and you can see in details. There is some highlighted parts which is again declaring the same programs. You can see here in the program, in for loop, initialization code is there, 1.0. Loop condition is there, number of students less than or equal to number of students. Instruction to execute after every iteration, count equal to count plus 1. If this condition is true, it will perform the for loop body that is written here. Give marks of the student, count, scene, marks, update, sum, max and mean. Now after updating this one, you can see the conditions checking through the sum is equal to sum plus marks. See, count is equal to 1, mean equal to marks, max equal to marks, else mean is equal to mean is greater than marks. This is the turning operator. Here we have used for the mean and the max function. It will print after that average, sum, mean and max. Now you can see the for loop and the while loop together. For to while, how to convert this one? For initialization, loop condition, iteration is there, the body of the for loop. If condition is true, then it will perform this task. And in the while loop, first initialization will be at the top of the while loop, and the while loop condition will be there. Condition if true, this one it will perform the task. Iteration will be there, otherwise it will not do anything. For loop again if you want to do from the converting the while loop to for loop, you can see while loop condition is there, while loop body is there, then in for loop there is the no initialization semicolon, loop condition is there semicolon. That means nothing is written there, whatever values you will be putting here that will be there, and then if condition is true, it will perform the while loop body. So for loop to do while and do while loop to for loop can be done by recalling the transformation of while to and from do while. Now thank you for this